Good morning. Happy weekend, everybody. It is Saturday today, and that means it is Garden Tour Saturday. This is hosted by the lovely Grandma Sandy. Go check her out. Today's co-hosts are Suffolk Susie from Long Island, New York. She does garden tours every Saturday, and sometimes I feel like a little more often, as well as harvesting videos, and I think a little bit of cooking thrown in. She has a lovely channel. Definitely check her out if you love gardening. Patricia N. Cube is the other co-host for today's garden tour. She does garden tours every Saturday and a little more often, I think. She has these lovely wild parrots that frequently visit her garden, and they always amuse me. Go check her out. She has a lovely smile and will just make your morning a little brighter. We are jumping right into the tour. Please ignore the little poop bag. I guess it was windy recently and it flew away. So this is my double pink knockout rose. This is one of many flushes of blooms it's had. It continues to bloom from about April until late October. It is the first rose I ever planted in this garden, and I absolutely love it. It is the best rose for beginner gardeners if they want to plant roses. Very disease resistant. Doesn't mean it won't get disease, but compared to any other rose I've grown or read about or heard about, one of the most disease resistant roses on the market. Also extremely drought tolerant. It does a little bit better with more water, but can certainly take conditions with very little water. And it is absolutely gorgeous. There's very little fragrance on the knockout roses, but that doesn't bother me. I used to have severe environmental allergies that definitely prevented me from growing fragrant flowers, but only recently have they almost disappeared. So, these roses are absolutely stunning. I use them in so many bouquets, and I highly recommend this variety. This is what they're looking like on August the 19th of 2023. Coming into my rather dead-looking cottage garden, there's a little bit of life going on. I'm going to show you a flower that I definitely haven't shown before. The first season I've ever grown it. I have this in multiple areas of the garden, and I actually don't remember the name. I think it came from a package of Dollar Tree seeds that I bought earlier in the season, sprinkled everywhere. They are actually really prolific. These yellow flowers, they're just starting to get a second flush. They bloomed earlier in the season, and I never showed it on this channel, but if you know the name of this flower, let me know. I cannot remember what it's called. It actually was much taller before I chopped it back after the first flush. And it gets a ton of these yellow flowers. They're not super vibrant, but very prolific. So let me know in the comments if you can identify this mystery flower. Blooming right beside the mystery flower is my oregano. It is close to the end of its bloom season, but the flowers are still looking pretty. Even though they're a little bit on the dry side, some of them, they still add a nice little pop of purple to this garden area. We are venturing up the hill, and we're going to take a look at some more sunflowers. I have multi-stem varieties that were not blooming in any of my previous tours that are starting to open, so that is super exciting. I love how one flower can have so much color in different directions. I am really enjoying the next sunflower that you are seeing right now. This is a very lemon-colored sunflower. I think lemon is in the name. Cannot remember it right now, but if it comes to me later, I'll pop the name on this screen. So lovely. It is more pastel, but there's just something about it that is so dainty and sweet. We are now venturing into the vegetable jungle, and I have more flowers to show you there. This is not good news. Supervisor is trying to go for pumpkin Big Macs. I do not appreciate that, mister. Of all the things in the garden, that is what you are not allowed to touch. Pumpkin Big Macs. Don't get too close. Zipper, I'm watching you. He's looking for what he can get into. I think it's going to be a squash leaf, which is totally fine at this stage of the game. So I came in here to show you a few of the flowers that are blooming. I have all of these orange poofy flowers. These are my ginormous marigolds. I planted a variety of different marigolds in here, and they are all starting to bloom at the same time. There is lots of orange color happening here. Orange is really the theme right now. If we peek under these sunflower leaves, all of the crocosmia you can see going on, that is all different tones of orange. There are still squash flowers forming. We do have one squash. Which I now believe is a spaghetti squash, which I will harvest pretty soon. It's a good size already. And now we need to bypass this man and head into this jungle-like condition over here. Head into the real jungle. And this is what I'm walking through. This is my journey to show you more flowers. I just wanted to give you a little perspective on how I am getting through the garden right now. It really is jungle-like in here. This is the view from right down by my feet. Lots of crocosmia flowers, more marigolds. These sort of cascade halfway up my bean structure here, which is getting rather tall. This is another pumpkin Big Macs in the corner of my garden with more flowers. It did have a little pumpkin on there that is, I think, gonna fall off. I'm not sure if there's more pumpkins on this one, but I do have a few pumpkins growing, so I'm okay with it, even if it falls off. Little bee chilling out in the marigolds. Coming this way, we have a different variety of marigold. This is a much lower grower, and I love the deep orange. I love the deep orange on this marigold. It is much shorter than all of my ginormous ones. And right here we have a different flower. I did sprinkle some orange zinnias into this garden, and I do believe this is one of the only plants that grew from that, but I'm so happy to have it. It is doing really well, and I love the different texture in these flowers. Quite different than my marigolds, crocosmia, pumpkin flowers, squash. Just a little bit of something different for the orange, for the sea of orange that we've got going on. I have a few calendula flowers here and there thrown into the mix. My mint, which you may have seen in a different garden video, definitely got a lot of flowers attracting the bees, and I do plan on transplanting it later in the season. It definitely spread right through my raspberries. So I hope I'm able to dig it out, but I would like this on my sloped area instead of in the vegetable garden. I'm about to venture into the rock garden, see what's going on in here this week. Well, we do have a lot of the same from the last garden tour. These are one of my favorite roses, my white Maylands, doing very well still. I do have a few updates going on in this section of the garden that I have not shown. This flower is my absolute favorite delight right now. I actually have no idea what it is. It just popped up this season. I don't even know where it came from. It must have been a wildflower mix from way earlier in the season. But check out these flowers. They're like a vibrant fuchsia red. So gorgeous, really low growing. If you know the name of this, let me know in the comments. I want more of it, whatever it is. I need to try to collect seeds if it has seeds and spread it, because I want this all over my rock garden. It is so beautiful, gives me tropical vibes. And just a short distance away, we have a hollyhock. I am so happy to have this. I meant to show you in my last tour, but totally forgot. I actually did not plant this this year. I planted it last year. Didn't get any plants or flowers, and then this spring the plants started to emerge, and I'm so delighted to have the flowers. At least I think it's a hollyhock. I'm pretty sure it is. If you identify this flower as something else, let me know, because I'm definitely thinking it's a hollyhock. This is what the leaves look like, but I could be mistaken. This might actually be something else. The flowers give me hibiscus vibes, but I assumed it was my hollyhock. So if you know this as a different flower, please let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to know the true identity. If I'm wrong about hollyhocks, then is it a hibiscus? A really weird hibiscus that I don't typically see in my area? I'm not really sure. Whatever it is very tropical-esque, and I love it. I wish I had more. And this is one of my mystery roses. I did show it a little bit earlier in the season. It did really well this year compared to every other season I've had it. And it went dormant for quite a while, but it is coming back to life. Check this out. Look at all those blooms. I am so excited for this to open up completely. It's going to be a lovely autumn show with all these flower buds emerging. And look at this. I am so happy. This is another one of my immature roses that was only planted in the last year or so, and it's going to bloom again. I don't typically get this many flushes of different roses. Only certain ones will keep blooming. But I've been trying to water more frequently in my garden, and I think that is why I'm getting more flowers this season. So that is super exciting. My California poppies, you did see them in the last garden tour. I wanted to show them again because the bees really love them, even though the flowers are really starting to fade now. I know by next month there will be a new flush of beautiful blooms throughout this rock garden. They just keep going and going. Here is my gar plant. In the last video, it only had about 2 or 3 flowers, and it is starting to make a rebound. I'll try to give you a more full view. The flowers are starting to emerge again. And let's get a close up here. I can't remember, but I think this variety might be called whirling butterflies, and you can probably tell why, because the flowers do give very butterfly-esque vibes, and this is what it looks like. In spring, when the foliage emerges from being dormant, it is actually a reddish purpley burgundy color, really, really gorgeous. And as the season progresses, it gets more green in color. We are going to venture into my succulent corner. It has changed quite a bit since you last saw it last week. There's a little overview. You may recognize some of what's going on here if you watched my secret succulent garden tour. That garden has traveled to a new area of the garden to add a little character and color to this succulent bed. This is my Morden Sunrise Rose, currently blooming. It blooms on and off throughout the spring and summer, and that's what the blooms look like. I've incorporated my faux glow-in-the-dark succulents with my real succulents here. for quite the display, particularly in the evening going into night hours. So that people other than just me can enjoy them. This rock garden is located right beside the sidewalk, so anyone walking by can have something interesting to look at. I always find it's cool when you're walking in a neighborhood to just see what people have in their yard and garden for art and decor. I always find it really interesting. So I wanted to give the people around me something unique to look at on their walks. Oh, I wasn't going to show you anything else, and I just ran into this rose in my garden. This is yet a different rose. Had no idea there were blooms on it. There's quite a few buds. I am so happy. I cannot believe the way my roses are rebounding this season. This is bringing me so much joy. I cannot wait to show you these in early fall, maybe even late summer, depends when they open. I just came across this flower, which I believe is a single little larkspur blooming on its lonesome. It is so tiny and so cute. I just had to turn on the camera and show you. Thank you so much for watching my Saturday garden tour. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and we will see you very soon in another area of the garden. Bye for now.